Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne. I'm your local hero. I'm Chief Necromancer who brings voices from heaven, uh, who brings messages from the dead. And some people think that that's instructed in the Bible that you can't do, but I'm seated in heavenly places. Currently, I'm seated in a stadium in heaven in front of my computer, and Toulouse in heaven in front of her computer. And Elvis is standing next to us, and Toulouse is going to ask him questions, and he's going to answer on the microphone, and the people in the audience are going to listen to him. We're just having a distraction with Toulouse children in the background, and that they're being videoed right now, and so yeah, so that won't be on the video. So this is Elvis Speaks from Heaven, Part 4. If you've just tuned in to this, you can go to Elvis Speaks from Heaven, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 before you watch this one, or you can just watch this one. I'm a prophet, and I'm able to speak to people in heaven, and Tulu, my writing partner here, has designed 5 questions for Part 4, and we're going to cover them. Tulu will ask the question, and Elvis will speak in my voice and answer the questions. So I hope you enjoy. If you watch this on YouTube, be sure to post a comment and let me know what you think.
Thank you, Matthew.
I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to make myself a coffee.
Matthew, you don't take a break at the start.
Yeah, I am not finding this.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, no. My name's Matthew. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Matthew just full of surprises.
Before the and you can just wait a minute more.
Matthew, so unprofessional.
Yeah.
Lord, your mercies I need.
My t-shirt says "Powered by Faith." I hand it over to Tulu, and she's going to ask the questions, and then Elvis is going to speak through me and answer. And Elvis says hello, Tulu.
Exactly. I wanted to say, how are you, Elvis? I hope you don't mind waiting.
Matthew's a pretty strange person, and he normally goes to the toilet and fixes his coffee before the interview, but we didn't do that this time. And for any one of you that's been watching from part 1, I hope you seen another side of Matthew in that introduction.
Thank you, Elvis. What is it like having 50% impact in your last interview? How does that make you feel?
Really, we were told the impact Freddie Mercury had in
Mm,
his interview, and I must admit that hit my heart. That I wanted to have an impact like that. Um, Matthew thinks that my impact was only on ROM 1, not on all the
mm,
ROMs, and we have to shift people out of ROM 1. There's
mm.
heaps of people, heaps of room in ROM 2 to ROM 7, and we've got to make room for more people to come into ROM 1. So I'm very happy with that, and it's just I've done more in heaven in one interview than most people do in heaven in eternity.
Oh, wow. I
Um,
couldn't
that
comprehend.
that interview had more significance than Jesus' death on the cross.
Wow. Oh my God. It's very difficult to comprehend what you've just said now, but I just have to accept it.
You just have to re-listen to the video and type up the video and meditate on what I said.
Yeah, I need to.
There's a lot of people in Rome 1,
Wow.
millions and
Billions.
millions, millions and millions of people, and
Oh.
that was a major shift.
So how does that make you feel?
Well, all the people that have come before me, all the saints that have been interviewed before me, and all of God's messages in God's last days message to his children, volume 1 to 10, have had an impact on people. And people have finally wanted to move on. And so it really makes me happy that that my appeal was because of a cumulative effect rather than
Mm.
just me. It's like building on the shoulders of the other people that came before me.
Oh, wow, that's so powerful. Yeah, man. I just love to do this. I love to interview people on a daily basis. So I enjoy it. So it's good to be speaking with you. And it's so great to just know that you've made an impact in heaven, even though myself and Matthew can't comprehend it like you will be able to. We just believe it. So my first question here today is, how do people communicate in heaven? Through what? Music or something deeper?
There's different ways to communicate in heaven. You can speak to a person with your voice, or you can speak spirit to spirit. Most people speak spirit to spirit. When Matthew has conversations at the dinner table, uh, uh, you ask questions. You're actually seated at the dinner table, even though you can't see it. When you ask questions, they hear your voice speaking, and it's not a spirit to spirit voice. They answer to Matthew's spirit, so they don't really speak out loud. Um, so people in heaven speak spirit to spirit, um, and uh, and that's really how you should be communicating with Jesus.
Wow.
If you learn to communicate with Jesus, and spirit to spirit is how Matthew can speak to dogs and cats and
Mhm.
birds, spirit to spirit, and a pigeon can give Matthew a prophecy. I'll give Matthew some encouragement, and the pigeon is just facing the other way, pecking up seed. Doesn't even look as though he's communicating with Matthew, but he is. Um,
Mm.
so when you speak spirit to spirit, but you can send someone a message in their spirit. They can be working in the house, washing the dishes, and you can send someone a vision and a message saying, I'm out here on my back deck, come out and visit me. And you could be the next door neighbour and someone's washing their dishes and they see a picture of you on the back deck, and then they get the message and they come out and they meet you on the back deck, and you have a conversation. So you can not only send a message spirit to spirit, but you can send pictures. You can send your location, which is really helpful. And you can send someone a song. I was listening to this song, and you can send them the song in your message to them. They can hear the song playing in their head and respond to you saying that's a really good song. So it was a very insightful question that you asked there, because communication in heaven is at another level.
Wow, that was what I was thinking as you were responding, that there's so many deeper level of communication that we don't understand as women being, because we are more carnal than spiritual. And when you're so carnal and you meet someone like Matthew, you will struggle to understand everything that he's saying. You will think he's probably hallucinating and that he doesn't know what he's saying. Maybe it's as a result of bipolar. You could easily push it in something else. You won't want to receive that message. But that is because we've not developed our spirit man well to be able to connect with people in heaven and for you to be able to hear and communicate to God so clearer. So, Elvis, why do you think we struggle to connect to our spirit?
Well, Paul speaks in Galatians that the spirit fights the flesh, and the flesh fights the spirit. And Paul said, anyone who walks in the spirit overcomes the lust of the flesh. In other words, if you learn to be led by the spirit and directed by the spirit, it won't lead you into sin. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The Holy Spirit won't lead you into temptation. When you're walking in the Holy Spirit, you won't be led into temptation. And so the spiritual things are different to the flesh, and the Holy Spirit can give you insight. And as you build intimacy with the Holy Spirit, you can be adept and understand spiritual things. And some of the things that I say here in this interview are a surprise to Matthew. Matthew was having a talk to one of his carers and saying that God participates in competitions in heaven, and he thought that was particularly nice of God to compete with humans. And he asked, does God win the competitions? Surely people can't beat God. And Matthew was able to say that there's people that have been bakers in heaven for 100 years, and they bake bread every day, and God doesn't bake bread every day. So they can beat him, you know. And so the carer thought that was nice. So when you tap into the Holy Spirit and you become intimate with the Holy Spirit, which not many people are, you can receive things of the spiritual that are spiritual in nature, and you can discern through the Holy Spirit's influence in your life that I've never heard that. It's hard to believe, but I trust it.
Mm, that's powerful. That's and so when you get to heaven, do you naturally just pick it up where you left it, or do you need to mature in your spirit as well? Am I communicating? Am I making sense?
Not everyone who arrives in heaven has got a maturity in the things of the Holy Spirit. So people have to learn that when they get to heaven. Heaven isn't like a car wash that you arrive in heaven and you go through the car wash and you suddenly know all theology, you know all truth. You're exactly like Jesus. You've become like him and you're perfect. Um, you arrive in heaven with the theology that you have and the unjust thoughts that you have and your judgments and the maturity that you had on earth. And you slowly have to grow in heaven. Um,
Mm.
and, uh, and that's why there's 7 realms, so people can grow and grow and grow. And when you get to the 7th realm, you can grow to the 8th realm all the way to 21 realms. And that's the 21 realms of heaven. There's
Mm.
realms on other planets and realms in other places. So heaven is a place of continual growth, and it doesn't matter if you arrive in heaven and you just got saved, you just became a
Mm.
Christian the day before, or you practiced Islam and you ended up in heaven and you don't know anything about the Christian faith. Um, it doesn't matter. You can grow and learn, and heaven is a place of free expression and liberty and justice, and it's a place that helps anyone mature as fast as they want to.
I like the way you said it, as fast as they want to. So you're still in control in a way. So that growth depends on you as a person. So what is one thing about heaven that is impossible to fully describe to those on earth?
Um, Maybe you could make the question, what's one thing about heaven that's impossible to comprehend to
To
people on
comprehend.
earth? In the higher realms, especially when you get to realm 7 and you become somewhat of an intercessor for people on earth, you can develop the mind of God and the mind
Mm.
of Christ to the point where you can have a million people at once praying to you, and
Oh,
you can hear the prayers of millions of people, and you can intercede for the people praying, and you can answer prayers for people. So God and Jesus can hear millions of prayers at once and have millions of conversations. And this is beyond Matthew because he's
mm.
never had thousands of conversations at once, um, but he was in the outer darkness once. Jesus sent him there, and he heard thousands of people talking at once down there. So he knows it's possible to have a mindset like that. So that's one thing. You can reach a stage where you become an intercessor for people on earth and pray and intercede for people. You can hear individuals praying, or you can hear a million at once, and you can really grow in your ability to help people on earth.
Oh, that's powerful. Thank you so much. Do you feel like heaven has a mission for you, or is it more of a place of rest?
Um, I said yesterday in part 3 that I really have an easy life, a peaceful life. It's like I'm retired. But anything you love is like that.
Mm.
You talk to, you listen to interviews with entrepreneurs, and they work 70 and 80-hour weeks, but they love it, and they wouldn't do anything different. They love working. So when you find something that is your passion, it's easy to do. So I like writing music. I like teaching students. I like playing performances. I like releasing music. I like communicating with people who communicate with me about my songs. I like meeting up with people and discussing my music with people. I like meeting fans. I like studying. I love pursuing Jesus. I love pursuing the Father. Uh, I love listening to the Father and listening to Jesus' heartache and fellowshipping in their sufferings. So my life is busy, but it's very peaceful.
That's powerful. My life is busy and it's very peaceful. And you said something that anything you love, it doesn't seem like work because you love it. So it's like you're enjoying. You don't see it as a chore because you love to do that thing. And I think what it is for me and Matthew is doing these conversations, we enjoy it, even though it takes time, but we enjoy the process. And a lot of times it doesn't look like work to me. So thank you so much for that response. My next question is there still a sense of passion and excitement about things, or is it more peaceful? You've answered it. What you've answered now is so similar, but there might be
Yeah,
another way.
so things in heaven you're passionate about. Even from realm 1 to realm 7, people find things to do that they're passionate about. Uh, if you're on earth and you always would have liked to try your hand at being a florist and you really
Mm,
love flowers, you can work with a florist and train to be a florist and have your own florist shop in heaven. If you always wanted to be an actor or a singer, you can become that in heaven, whatever your heart desires. Of course, a lot of people do jobs that they desire in
mm,
heaven, in realm 1, but you grow from realm 1 when you start to do a job that helps other people, and when you have when you start your florist shop and start to train another florist, then you'll be promoted in heaven as you start to impart and show love to another person and train someone else. Or you could run a course in a floristry school, teaching people how to be florists, and you'd be promoted to realm 2 because you're not just a florist, you're teaching people how to be florists. So um, there's jobs in realm 1, but there's more meaningful, more passionate jobs in higher realms, and a lot of people in realm 7 are just like life coaches. They're just mentoring people and teaching people and equipping people and getting behind people and being like spiritual coaches to people. The people from the higher realms come down to the lower realms and
mm.
instruct them and mentor them and teach them and encourage them. So a lot of the higher realms are just like godlike people coming to put their arms around people and teach them and love them. So um, if you're in realm 7, you may have a job like you may be a fashion designer, but like Princess Diana is, but you may be teaching other fashion designers or helping people become fashion designers and not just, um, not just doing that yourself.
Thank you, Elvis. So we've spoken about Jesus, we've spoken about the Father. What is your relationship like with the Holy Spirit? How are you able to relate to those Trinity? Is there any difference or are they just three in one?
The Holy Spirit is like the boss of heaven.
Hmm.
Everyone makes appointments and gets directed by the Holy Spirit. So someone may win a competition, and the prize is for them to meet with me and have a conversation with me and they may leave their home one morning, and and the Holy Spirit tells them to go to such and such cafe, and they go there, and I get directed by the Holy Spirit to meet up with them. We have a coffee, and they ask questions, but the Holy Spirit gives them the questions to be asking, and the Holy Spirit leads me with what I say, so the whole conversation flows really well. Just like we started this interview, and there's set questions for this interview, and then there's questions that you get as I say things. You get other questions. Those questions are being led by Bethany, Matthew's scribe angel, but um, she's very much like the Holy Spirit, and so all conversation in heaven, even though it can be spirit to spirit, is led by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit directs people to leave early for work one morning. They may get an impression to leave half an hour early, and they may want to meet me. And on their way to work, they'll bump into me, and I'll have 20 minutes spare. And I've been told to go to a meeting early, and we just coincidentally, if you can call it coincidence, bump into each other, and they have the opportunity to speak to me for 10 minutes. And that's all they really needed. They just had one or two questions. They only needed one or two questions to get promoted to the next realm, and I hold the key to their answer. So the Holy Spirit's just directing people around, putting words in people's mouths, organizing worship in the throne room, empowering people to worship, empowering people in the gifts, empowering people to work properly. Ephesians 3:20, and it can do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think, according to the power that works within us. The Holy Spirit empowers people to do exceedingly and abundantly more than they can ask or think in heaven.
Wow, so the Holy Spirit is the boss, is the one that brings orderliness into heaven and into our lives. We will say that's what
Yeah,
the Holy Spirit.
not a lot of people on earth are truly intimate with the Holy Spirit. Matthew, father, met a guy once who was a really seasoned apostle, and he said that Matthew and the Holy Spirit were the closest he's ever seen anyone in the world. Like he's never met a person closer to the Holy Spirit than your son Matthew. He said to Matthew's father, um, and he said they fly together like this. And from the book, you can say they fly together like two birds follow each other through the sky. Um, and Matthew's father was flabbergasted, but Matthew's come to realize that he's really intimate with the Holy Spirit. And this apostle said 70% of what Matthew says is the Holy Spirit speaking, and he's not even aware that it's the Holy Spirit speaking. So he said, Matthew asked him about 100 questions about the meanings of different scriptures in a 6-hour a car drive going from one city to the next. And this apostle patiently just answered each question. At the end of the car trip, he said to Matthew, "Now, you asked me about 100 questions. Have you got 100 less questions now, or have you got 100 more questions?" And Matthew said, "I've got 100 more questions." He said, "Okay, you'll always have more questions. That's why you've got to ask the Holy Spirit for the answers.
Wow.
Don't ask people questions, ask the Holy Spirit questions, and He'll answer your questions." But he had fun answering Matthew's questions. Very patient of him to do that. And the Holy Spirit can lead your life on earth. He can powerfully affect you and train you and teach you and equip you. But in heaven, the Holy Spirit is really obeyed and leads people a whole lot better. There's less interference in heaven.
Oh, wow, that's so beautiful. Do you have any relationship with Mary Magdalene at all?
Yes, I know Mary really well.
Hmm. So how do you know her? Who is she to you or to
Uh,
her?
she's she appears at the dinner table, and the dinner table keeps on expanding. You get to be on the dinner table if you've done an interview with Matthew as part of your reward. And I've met Mary through John. John's close to Mary, and John's close to Princess Diana, and so I've met Mary. Mary's like the female Jesus in heaven. She's as powerful and as anointed as Jesus, and Mary is like the ruler of heaven, and everyone knows him, but knows her. But to know her personally is a different thing. And I've had some good conversations. She's so gracious. She's so humble. She's so kind. She'll do anything for you. She's very patient. She's very honest. She's very transparent. She's just a beautiful person. I'm not as close to her as Matthew is, and other saints are, but I know her well enough to strike up a conversation and carry on the conversation. But different people have different relationships. I have a very close relationship with Isaiah and David, and my students. But Mary is certainly someone to really look up to.
Thank you, Elvis. Just give me 1 minute. I think somebody's at the door. Sorry, I've got visitors. Like, thank you, Elvis. My last question was about Mary, isn't it? I've lost what I was
Yeah.
thinking, what I was thinking before. So,
Do you
so
have to
if
speak to your visitors?
no, they're the cleaner. So in case if you see them
Oh,
in behind me, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So Elvis, if you could send a message to your fans and loved ones still on her, what would you say?
I'd just like people to know that the best thing you can do is obey your conscience.
Hmm.
Do what you feel is right. Matthew was talking to his carer today, saying that people who obey their conscience will make it to heaven. His carer was asking if he'd make it to heaven, and he said, "What do you mean conscience?" And said, "Do what you feel is right." And the carer said, "Like my morals and my way of living." And Matthew said, "Yeah, like your morals, act according to your morals." He said, "I do that all the time." Um, so do what you feel is right. Do what you feel is worthy. Um, we've already shared. I've already shared with you Matthew's book on the parables and Matthew's book on the commandments. Um, I'd encourage you to read those books and put them into practice. Matthew's also got a book called Number Seven Keys to Intimacy with Jesus, and I'd encourage you to read that. Matthew's got a series of books. He's working on book number 10. 7 of them are published, called God's Last Days Message to His Children. And I'd encourage you to start that series and read one of the books every 3 weeks, and a new book comes out every month. And after about 6 months, you would have caught up to them. And I'd really recommend those books to get to know the heart of God. If you're interested in music, you can learn to play music in heaven. Even if you're not especially gifted, we can teach you an instrument, and you may not have a voice on earth that you feel is a good voice, but everyone has a good voice in heaven. No one sings out of tune in heaven. Everyone's got a good voice. And if you love me, I hope that you loved what I had to say in this book. And just it's hard to accept it. It's hard to believe it, but God really loves you, and it may be easy for me to say and easy for you to hear, but a lot harder for you to believe. So many of you are involved in things that are no good and not good for you, and some of yous are living with your girlfriend outside of marriage, and some of you are in marriages and committing adultery, and some of you are addicted to pornography, and some of you are addicted to seeing sex workers, and some of you are doing all sorts of bad things and acting against your conscience. And if you're doing some of these things that I've mentioned, you may feel that God doesn't love you and God doesn't accept you, and that you need to clean your life up and become spick and span before God will accept you. And that's just not the message. For many years, Matthew had addictions, and he's only just come free of the addictions in recent months. And God has poured his love out on Matthew and drawn him close. And God loves you. And if you've read this book, if you've downloaded this book on Amazon, uh, uh, do Matthew a favor and write a honest review of the book, and just comment on one thing that I said in the course of this interview, and make a comment, and that would really bless Matthew. If you want to have the ability to speak to me and have a conversation with me, reach out to Matthew on Facebook and tell him that I said that in this book, and he'll have a Facebook chat conversation with you, and you could possibly talk to me, and that would be a blessing to you. I want to personally thank you for taking the time to read this book. If this is an audio book, I want to thank you for taking the time for listening. If you found this book by video on YouTube, please be rest assured that this book is just this video is just one video found on a playlist called Mentoring in the Heavenlies, and that playlist, Mentoring in the Heavenlies, can be found on Matthew's YouTube, and over 100 saints in heaven have been interviewed on that playlist, and you can find plenty of more interviews to listen to, and most of them have Tulu asking questions and the Saints answering. And so I hope you're encouraged. You knew me as if you knew me as an artist on earth, which would make you pretty old. I hope that you are blessed by what I had to say. Do what you need to do to get to heaven, and I'll see you in heaven.
Thank you, Elvis. That was really a good, comprehensive closing message. I wanted to ask you before you say your closing that is there anything that you like to tell the people in heaven that you think I've not covered in my question, or you think you're okay?
I just want to tell the people of heaven that I'm very pleased that the people in Rome 1 responded about advancing. If anyone in other realms want to advance to a further realm, they can press I want to advance to a further realm on their iPad now, and a prophet will be in touch to tell you the steps you need to do to advance to another realm. Some of you, it may take 6 months, some of you, it may take years, but the prophet will give you a comprehensive understanding of what you need to do. I really encourage you to move into another realm because there's always friends in that realm that are more passionate about Jesus, and your future is fully planned by God. And as you advance, things are going to get more fun, more enjoyable, more exciting. And the closer you get to Jesus and the closer you get to God, the more amazing heaven is. So, for those of you who are listening in realm 2 to realm 7, press that button and a prophet will be in touch. God bless you.
Thank you, Elvis. So myself and Matthew will be looking forward to speak to you at our next dinner table conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I've really been blessed. And I believe Matthew has been blessed as well by the message. So that's me.
Okay, so if you listened to this video to the end, please press like. If you want to encourage me, I'd encourage you to write a comment, and God bless.